This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon and welcome to some Edmonton Oilers discussion. I know, long time no talk, my friends, but as you saw the other day, that day I've long awaited for finally came and went. And yes, sir, we can get back to enjoying our Edmonton Oilers rather than watching a blender on ice. Now, isn't that nice? It's sweet, and let me tell you, very, very excited for the Jay Woodcroft era in Edmonton, because you know what? You can say what you want about Woodcroft, you can say what you want about the Oilers coaching carousel, you can say what you want about Nuge having had as many coaches as he had, or McDavid having as many as he's had. Cut the crap. Simple as this. The best season the Oilers have had since Connor McDavid's been an Edmonton Oiler. There's one man that was on the bench at that point. It's Jay Woodcroft, and he is now the head coach after paying his dues, getting the job done, lighting up the AHL with the Bakersfield Condors, which you give me that 2020 season all over again, who knows what would have happened down there in Bakersfield. So, right, let's fire away and figure out what's going on here for the Oilers now. So, it's pretty simple. New head coach, Dave Manson's on the bench as well. You've got a situation where, and this is the part that I don't think anyone really yelled about when it was time to fire Tippett, is Playfair's out as well. Playfair's gone. He's to the curb as well. And the part that I don't think anyone's mentioned is Playfair was not an assistant. He was an associate coach. So a little bit of an elevated role on the bench beside Dave Tippett compared to the other assistant coaches. So that's where you find yourself with that. And then all of a sudden you combine the fact that, well, Manson and Woodcroft, just going to say, based on Jay's time in Edmonton beforehand and Dave Manson's time in the AHL, they have spent time with like 75-80% of the Oilers roster. In fact, you go up against the lines from the other night against New York last night, in which we win, by the way, in Jay Woodcroft's debut. Don't forget about that. Do we? Let me go here and just check this for you, because this is where it's going to be weird for you to kind of line things up. Is talking points, coaching changes. Oh, where is that lineup? You know what? Let's just go to the roster, right? Let's just go to the roster and get this done. And I can simply tell you who has not played under Jay Woodcroft prior to last night. Nuge Hyman is one. Barry's one. Fogel's one. Keith's one, Cece's one, Derek Ryan's one, Brendan Pierolini, Devon Shore, Evander Kane, Kyle Turris, William Lageson's played for him. Yeah, doesn't sound like it, but he's been around. And Mikko Koskinen and Mike Smith. Mikko actually had him in training camp probably a couple years ago, but Mike Smith, and that's really it. Really, there is not much to this roster. The core of the roster, I guess you could say, the guys who are going to move the needle for us night to night, have all played under Jay Woodcroft at some point in their careers prior to last night's victory against the Islanders 3-1. So, right? You get where I'm going with this. This is not we brought in an outside voice that's going to solve the problems. No, this is we brought the voice that knows how to win with this group. Whether you want to say that 2017 run with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl busting out, right? That's a stellar run that we all should still very much so be proud of as Oilers fans. And guess what? Jay Woodcroft on the bench back then. Then he goes down to the AHL and absolutely does everything right for 3.5 seasons. Grows the Oilers farm system from nada to the best in the league at some things, I'd say. Goaltending's still an issue down there, but we'll figure that out as we go along. We've got some gems in the rough, and they'll be good. But you talk about, right, developing Evan Bouchard into what he is. And don't kid me, right? Oh, man, it's going to be glorious when Jay Woodcroft's throwing Evan Bouchard out there on the power play. Bouchard scoring a goal every week. Yeah, good time. So there's a lot to this, right? Obviously, Jay Woodcroft's familiar, and especially with the younger players coming up through the system the rest of the year, he knows how to deploy them. He knows where they fit. He knows how they fit. And guess what? That all just leads to less blendering. Less blendering, less going in the crapper because you just don't know what to do, right? The imagination of Dave Tippett was gone. He was just pulling cards and pick threes and whatever you want to say, trying to figure it out. And now you've got Jay Woodcroft in here, who's been stability on the farm for 3.5 years, who's capable of doing the job, who did the job last night, and who knows how to use the lineup. Now, an interesting note from Bakersfield in that same scenario of using the lineup is you may want to get used to seeing 11-7 as the lineup card most nights. That's from guys who watch Bakersfield every night. Yeah, you think I'm not in contact with my Bakersfield contacts still, but Tyson keeps up, and thankfully they keep up as well. But 11-7 is a common theme in Bakersfield under Jay Woodcroft, and as you saw last night, that's how the Jay Woodcroft era began. Late in the evening before the game began, scratching Devon Shore. Right? See? He's already getting it right. Oh, how can you not love this guy? Everybody angry about everything, and Jay Woodcroft comes in night one, solves the problems, and gets a W, and now we move on to another Bakersfield tradition, which is, well, I don't know how many Bakersfield games you watch or how much you follow Condor's Twitter, but they got this legit thing going on, which I think, honestly, is the best out of any of them in the AHL, is the W column, where they just line up the W's when they win, and it is glorious because they did a lot of that under Jay Woodcroft, and now we've got the first one under Jay Woodcroft out of the way, so now on Monday we can look forward to hopefully extending that to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and away we go. And all of a sudden, my friends, you could talk about winning 5 in a row, and suddenly the Pacific Division looks completely different with the Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames right back in the thick of things, ready to get things geared up for the playoff time. So far from out of it is the beautiful part, and I'm not crazy about that. I'm not delusional about that this year. Far from out of it, and guess what? Mr. Jay Woodcroft, he can come in and just ease into the job because he is already more than comfortable with where he's sitting as the head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. So ladies and gentlemen, it's the beginning of a new era. We've got the first win out of the way, and it is looking pretty mighty fine as we get things going. That said, shameless plug, ladies and gentlemen, Cold Lake Ice, Vermilion Tigers, round 1 playoff action, game 2, going live in Cold Lake this evening. So please, I will have the end card here in the end of the video. Make sure to go tune into the live stream at some point, support those boys in blue, and try and get them a dub as they try to get back in the series down 1-0 to the Tigers after a 4-0 loss on Thursday. For Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen, you know who I am. I'm Tyson Dolynny, up on out of here.